Hello. Just enjoying a nice salad here before I indulge in some protein. And the last few days I was doing like a DJ festival. If you follow my Snapchat at GOG9, I did Digital Dreams here in Toronto. All right, we're heading to Digital Dreams, and I'm third wheeling these two. Let's do it. I'm excited. I've never done this.
Oh, great. That's dope, Greg.
Where are we going?
Go Beats.
Look who I bumped into.
Oh, fuck yeah, yo. Kinobody. Digital Dreams. Let's fucking go. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that.
I bumped into some Irish fans, man. What's up? Fucking Ireland's the shit.
Yeah, but you know what?
Nicole, where are we going?
Oh, fuck final. I don't know.
Where's the main
The
stage?
main stage is that way. I think it's the main stage.
Mike, we're going that way. I'm storing this shit. Hey, we bumped into a Warrior Shredder, man. How's the cut going?
Oh my god, it's amazing. I love
You laying down?
Yeah, I lost 10 pounds.
Intermittent fasting?
Oh yeah.
Strength? It's good.
Shrink wrap.
This guy's been following me for 3 years.
One right there.
When I was no one. When I was fucking no one.
Dedication. You know your shrink wrap video?
Yes, dude. And I had a really fun time. It's like 2 days of like intense partying. I'm not really into the DJ music scene, but I had some buddies that were going. I'm like, you know what? Let's experience this. So it was a very fun day. I'll say that the first day was a lot more fun. Second day I was a little bit burnt out. But I didn't really eat that much that weekend, and I also moved around a lot, so I ended up losing like 30 pounds. I'm actually pretty damn lean right now. We'll get into the topic of this video in a second, but I just want to update you. I'm a little bit lean right now, like 166, and I'm going to eat quite a bit for the next couple days, restock, refill up a little bit, and kind of put on some more glycogen in the muscles. So this video is titled Intermittent Fasting for Teenagers. I feel like every single video I get, someone or multiple people ask me, can they do intermittent fasting if they are a teenager? And we're going to cover this topic. The short answer is, yeah, you can do intermittent fasting. I think most teenagers are worried that if they do intermittent fasting, it could potentially stunt their growth or harm their health because they're young and they're growing. That said, humans work on a much different timeline than, rats, for example. So the idea that going, until lunchtime without eating is going to cause your body to go into starvation is absolutely wrong. As long as you're getting insufficient calories, you can do intermittent fasting. That said, if you're a teenager, I wouldn't really push it that far. I wouldn't fast, for 24 hours or even 20 hours. Simply push that fast, 4 or 5 hours after waking up. And the big caveat here, and the big thing to remember here, is that it's important to eat enough food. So if you're doing intermittent fasting, you're skipping breakfast, but you're eating super low calories, then yes, you can harm your health, and you can potentially stunt your growth. In fact, some research shows that when you're deficient in nutrients, and in certain minerals, you can actually stunt your growth. I think I was reading a research paper a long time ago, but it's showing that people that have zinc deficiencies end up kind of having stunted growth. Among other minerals, I'm sure. So it's really important that if you do intermittent fasting, you still eat a nutrient-dense diet. You get in a lot of, healthy amount of protein, good amount of healthy fats, fruits, vegetables, and get in the proper amount of nutrition. But as long as you get in the proper amount of nutrition, then it's definitely okay to do intermittent fasting. That said, a lot of people that ask me about intermittent fasting that are teenagers, they're looking at it to lose fat. And so some people are worried, is it okay to be in a calorie deficit if you're a teenager? And the answer is a resounding of course. Yes, it is okay. Because I think people are way too our society is way too comfortable. We want to avoid any sort of discomfort or pain, especially for teenagers. And so a lot of personal trainers, fitness people, be like, if you're a teenager, the last thing you want to do is think about restricting calories. You just eat as much as you want and train, and you'll be fine. That's fine for a lot of teenagers. But that's not okay for people that are struggling with their weight and they're gaining a lot of fat. I mean, look around at our society. There's no shortage of kids that have too much fat, and their life is hampered immensely. Do you know what it's like to grow up as a teenager when you're going through all these, when naturally you already have all these body issues. Naturally, you already have all these insecurity issues. I remember when I was a teenager, I kind of felt like I had no confidence in myself. So, add on to the fact that, maybe you're 10, 20, 30, 40 pounds overweight. It doesn't feel good. The last thing you want to do is just be like, oh, just accept it and be like, you know what, I have to wait till I'm 20. You want to get your habits dialed in now. So yeah, if you want to lose fat, you have to be in a caloric deficit. That said, you want to do it the smart way. You don't want to do an extreme calorie diet. You don't want to do tons and tons of cardio. You want to take your time. Just aim for, a pound of fat loss per week. My youngest brother, Rory, when he was 14, he became quite chubby. And eventually he came to me and he asked me for advice on how to get fit. And I felt so sad and emotional because I just felt like I didn't realize that his weight was struggling him for so long because he was so quiet about it. But when he told me, I felt so emotional. And I was like, we're going to do this. And I had him do intermittent fasting. He loved it. He found losing weight was so damn easy once he started to not eat breakfast. He wasn't even hungry until, lunch or sometimes even after school. And then he ate, a good healthy amount of food. I didn't tell him to count his calories. I didn't tell him to, cut out certain foods. I just said, skip breakfast, eat like a healthy amount of food and, try and be moderate and kind of give him a little bit of tips to help him. And every week, sure enough, he was losing a pound. He was gaining strength. I had him start lifting weights. So at first he could barely do a chin-up, and then after a couple months he could do 10 chin-ups. It was insane. Just making crazy progress. And funny enough, he started doing this at 14, and he's the tallest of us all. There's 5 kids in this family, okay? I'm 5'10". My 2 other brothers are like 5'10", 5'11". My sister's like 5'4". And then Rory, the youngest, who was the one that was doing intermittent fasting during the teenage years, ended up becoming 6'1". Quite a bit taller than all of us. Now, that's not to say that intermittent fasting caused him to become taller, but obviously it didn't stunt his growth. It's not like he was going to be 6'4" with 5'10" brothers. And actually, I know another close family to us that their son just hated eating breakfast and would pound 2 sandwiches at lunch, and he became a lot taller than everyone else in his family, including his brother and his dad. These are just sort of kind of, just random examples that don't really, I can't use this to support the cause because, it's not like, huge studies, but unfortunately we don't really have studies to look at intermittent fasting and if it stunts the growth. But I will tell you, there is no mechanism in which I can actually foresee intermittent fasting stunting growth in teenagers as long as you're eating sufficient calories. If you have fat to lose, don't push it too extreme. Make sure you eat enough nutrition. You will definitely be fine. In fact, one of the cool things with intermittent fasting is the fact that it increases growth hormone up to 2,000% in men and 1,100% in women. This growth hormone is, if you don't know, it's the main hormone that your body produces in high amounts during puberty that actually is responsible for height growth. So the idea that intermittent fasting increases growth hormone could potentially actually be reason to believe that it actually might help encourage growth. Whether that's true or not, just making a large assumption that could absolutely not be true, but who knows, So I think probably there's more reason to believe that intermittent fasting may actually encourage height growth during puberty years due to the large increases in growth hormone, as long as you're being active, you're eating a healthy diet, and you're not starving yourself. So I will finish this off and say that people that have issues that potentially are likely to eat an extreme calorie deficit and take things way too far, those are the ones that are going to want to be very, very careful with intermittent fasting. But for the people listening to this that don't have those huge issues, that maybe even have some weight they want to lose, yeah, if intermittent fasting helps you get fit, it's going to help you. There's no reason why you have to wait till you're 18, 19, or 20. So these are my thoughts on the matter. Can teenagers do intermittent fasting? Yes. Now, the only issue here is that a lot of parents are very sensitive about that, and they think that it's very harmful for anyone to do intermittent fasting, let alone teenagers. So they might actually not allow you to do it, which may be a huge issue. You can try and educate them on the matter. You can just try and casually be like, yeah, I ate my breakfast, don't worry, it's all good. Or you can try and just do the best you can and maybe just eat a light breakfast, just have a little bit of fruit in the morning, and then enjoy a big lunch or big dinner, or big lunch and dinner. So I mean, there's ways to kind of work around it. I know that if I started learning about intermittent fasting and the benefits of it, and I was like, 14, 15, 16, I would have gone on that shit pronto. But that's just me. Anyways, I don't know if I'm gonna get flack for this video, because I feel like people are so damn sensitive with teenagers. It's like, oh, don't work out, don't try and like diet. It's like, no, take care of your health, work towards the body you want. I remember I started lifting weights when I was like 12, 13, and all my friends were like, oh, don't do it, it's gonna stunt your growth. But I was like, fuck that, I wanna train, I wanna lift. And it was very, very apparent that, lifting weights properly will not stunt your growth. It cannot damage your growth plates. In fact, your body goes under more, there's more impact on your bones from running and jumping than simply lifting a weight. That said, you still want to be careful, of course, when you're a teenager lifting weights. You don't want to push it too hard. You don't want to put your body under too much stress. You want to be really careful and, obviously get good instruction. But definitely, be careful and there's no reason why you can't strength train, do intermittent fasting, eat a caloric deficit if you're in your teenage years. That said, if you are a teenager, don't try and get down to 6% body fat, 7% body fat, or even 8% body fat. If I were you, I would stay around 10 to 15% body fat in your teenage years. Don't worry about having shredded abs or lower ab veins. Just be at a lean weight where you're healthy, you're an athlete, and focus on getting stronger, focus on, being fit, having fun. Don't become obsessed with the gym either. I think a lot of teenagers, it's so easy for them to become identified with something, As we become older, we get more balanced. But I remember when I was a teenager, I was working out like crazy. I made that my life, Every day I was either lifting or I was doing like running intervals. I was eating a super clean diet. I wasn't going out and partying, and I just think I took that way too obsessively. I should have found more balance in my life, worked out a little bit less, had more of a social life. So I feel like teenagers really, I would impress upon you to really nail this balance thing. Don't become obsessed with it. Enjoy, all the amazing aspects of life. And I think that's all I want to say on this subject. I'm sure I have a lot of teenage followers, as long as a lot of 20, 30, 40, and 50-year-old followers. But I really hope you find this helpful. If there's a teenager you want to share it with, then pass it along. But that's my thoughts. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe, share your comments, and if you want to join one of my programs, they all implement intermittent fasting to some degree, then go over to kinobody.com/tool. I'll put a link in the description or on this video. Adios. Bye.